Everything we see is a bad
Notice me, senpai. Notice me.
Now a question. What had Herbert Hoover, Art Linkletter, Jack London, and Richard Nixon all had in common?
I have no enemies.
Your eyes can deceive you. Don't trust them. It seems to be getting harder, distinguishing reality from the illusions people make for us, or from the ones we make for ourselves. Maybe that's part of the plan, to make me think I'm crazy.
What the hell are you talking about?
I wanted to say that you're gonna hear some bad things about me, and some of them are true. But trust me, everything I've worked for, everything I care about, it's all for this wild card, bitches! Yeah!
Greetings, salutations, graceful blessings among many, peace and love among few, and light and glory among you. I swear I just made that up, dog. That's how life been moving right now, family. Like, I really just made that shit the fuck up. Come on, let's get another round of applause for that, because that was crazy. I would do myself so numerous and fucking... time and time again, it just makes goddamn gunshots for that one. Bomba clat. Yeah, greetings, Chunky Milk. This is episode 22. I'm your humble host, Kino. Keino 662 on Instagram, Twitter, Spreaker, anywhere you get your podcast information from, and up YouTube as well. Yeah. So, like I said, it's episode 22. We're creeping up on another quarter centennial, another landmark, and it's going to be the quarter centennial. This is like when they just had a baby, so they be like, "How old is your baby?" Fucking 48 months or 5,200 weeks. But yeah, so here we are again. So grateful to see another day, so grateful to see another week. Still working on the exact drop days that we're going to do. I'm going to start back dropping on Saturdays and try to seek out exactly where I want to put the episodes at. So we're going to reestablish the Saturday schedule, and also I'm going to continue to try to find that perfect date. So look forward to that as well. Okay, so I want to start off this episode by bringing up a topic and or theory called the Memory Palace. And basically, the Memory Palace is a memory technique or a memorization strategy based on visualizations of familiar spatial environments to recall information. It is, it's like the technique is described as you assigning something that you want to remember with an environment that you're in. Before I researched exactly what it meant, I was thinking of a technique where you imagine, like a vault or something, and you put that memory in there, and it's like a hall and or palace. I was thinking of the hyperbolic time chamber while I was imagining my own memory palace. But then I discovered that's not actually the case. It's just a memory technique, and I think it's actually still interesting. So the technique involves making overly exaggerated like mental images in your mind can help to improve your recall. For example, let's say you're trying to remember the items you need to pick up packing your suitcase, and you're creating a memory palace with your kitchen. You could start at the sink and associate the sink with your t-shirts. And I think to elevate that example, you could also Remember where you. I think everybody does this when we hide things and try to remember where they are. But we don't be so. We don't exaggerate it enough. That's why we misplace things as well. Memory is a funny thing because our brains are mostly water. I was talking with my friend. Bodies are mostly water, and I was talking with my friend yesterday, and we were talking about the disease of Alzheimer's and dementia. Now, it's come into light. It's come into actualization. Hold on, let me adjust this mic. Yeah, so it's come into light that dementia and Alzheimer's, they're not exactly the same, but they're very similar. Alzheimer's is a specific brain disease that accounts for 60 to 80 dementia cases. Dementia is a general term for symptoms like decline in memory, reasoning, and other thinking skills. So, they are basically on a Venn diagram where 80% of all Alzheimer's cases are dementia cases. Dementia is memory, reading, and memory, reasoning, and other thinking skills. So it's your whole brain function. Alzheimer's seems to be strictly memory. No, I said it all to say, it's come to light now that dementia is linked to dehydration. Yeah. So I thought that was worth making note of. I did tell you to drink more water, and you do have a shitty memory. So here we are. But yeah, this memory palace thing was very, very interesting. I think that it is a concept that never really needed to be established, never really needed to be studied. I think that everybody does this, and even with locations, if you're trying to remember when to make that turn or something, or you're trying to remember exactly where somebody lives, you're like, oh, they live 4 houses down from that big blue house, and so on and so forth. And even when I'm trying to remember something from my childhood, I try to first remember what house I was living in, and then what was my favorite t-shirt at the time, what was my favorite ball shorts at the time. So I think memory is intrinsically linked to emotion. It's intrinsically linked to circumstance and people. And I think that even remembering something will put you back in that mode. I think we also do that with sense subconsciously. I think our brains remember literally everything, and the information that we barely use, it just gets thrown to the wayside. So, yeah. I just wanted to bring up my memory palace. If you guys want to look into that, read into that a little bit more. This second topic is the fact that I've only recently became a person.
What do you mean by that?
With actual sentient thought. I believe that maybe up until as recently as 2, maybe 3 years ago, I was a cog in the system. I naturally, like water, went through not only the path of least resistance, but the path that I was all right. The path that like desired me to go down that way or down that path. I think oftentimes I convolute kindness for people pleasing, right? And I think also in the 14 or 16 years of my schooling, no one teaches you how to think, right? I think that all schooling, the education system is based off of, it's kind of like, well, it's based off of turning people into sheeple. But for me personally, it's always been like a memory game. And I was explaining this to, ironically, that same friend that I was speaking with. And I was saying how, in school, I excelled all the time, whether or not I'm fucking jerking off in the back or like actually paying attention or in class high as fuck. It just was always a memory game because the test that we're taking is like it was discussed for the week. You know what I mean? I can count on hands and toes how many tests I failed throughout every year. No, not every year. Maybe like every 2 years, but that's every no, I would say maybe definitely not in college, but maybe like high school. Yeah, I can count. I haven't failed that many tests whatsoever. I mean, I graduated with 3.8, if that even matters. But yeah, so I don't remember. Oh yeah, I think that I recently learned how to think. Like the structure of thinking, how I digest it right now is kind of similar to the scientific method. I try to have original thought. That would be the inception of my thinking process right now. And I think it's so rare that anyone has ever had an original thought. But what I mean by that is I try to be as sharp to the ether as possible. I try to be a conduit for the ether to this plane that we're living on now, as sharply and as perfect as a connection as I can make. And the next step after attempting to communicate with the ether, it would be I guess it would be the confidence in that thought itself. I think that when people have an idea and other people do not agree with said idea, it is a disheartening feeling when you're so focused on what other people think about not just you, but your ideas and what you got type shit. And obviously not to fucking say, that other people shouldn't be able to influence your thinking patterns. I think that's only natural, but there is a threshold that's desirable. I think that seeking to make money has also made being a robot more desirable. It's also made time it also made clocks, timekeepers, more important, more like the lords of the land. which the sun is the Lord of my land, to be honest. So when sun is up, peak sun, sundown, that's working hours. Other than that, it's graveyard shift, and you're just expeding to an early grave, in my humble opinion. Right. So the next topic I would like to bring up is a question. What are you willing to lose? I think that I've never been a gambler. I mean, I've definitely lost a lot of money in casinos, but a risk taker naturally. I'm the type of person that likes to weigh out the not just the options, but the pros and cons, the consequences and gifts. I like to weigh out numerous conclusions to the actions that I'm taking. And I think that in that sense, I'm not willing to lose anything. Well, not a lot of things. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I try to think about it in a soldier's mindset, like the soldier that keeps the locket with his wife, kids, or mother, a picture of them in it, and he's not willing to lose anything, so he's fighting harder. Or is he willing to lose it because and then I don't know, is he willing to lose it, like he's gambling the life of, you know, staying home with said family to go out and fight in that war, so he's willing to lose that. And then does that make him fight harder? Because those are two opposite logics. And then you have those people that have nothing to lose. Are they more of a threat, or are they less of a threat? Because if you have nothing to lose, and you're more of a threat, that just means you're a fucking kamikaze waiting to happen. Or if you have everything to lose, it's the same. Like it's the same thing to me. And I don't know. I haven't been able to wrap my head around it for a while now. But I think that if something is true, then the opposite must be true as well. So I don't know. I think that. I'm not sure, but I think to gain anything in this world, there's a law of equivalent exchange, and a lot of people aren't risk takers, and they aren't, taking those risks, and then you're gonna die broke, and you're gonna die poor. You're gonna die of delinquent funds in spirit. So even with something as simple as a loan, like you have to take out that credit initially and that's a risk. You are swearing basically that you're going to pay this back with interest, and for that reason we're going to give you these funds and allow you to do whatever the hell you want to do with them. But if anything goes wrong, that's your ass. But things can go right, I call myself the true optimist, the one true optimist, and you have to see that positive side, because that's the only thing holding people back. Poor people as a whole. Get your credit right and go get a loan. Rich people don't even have anything in their names. Wealthy people have nothing in their names, and poor people have everything in their names, and they struggle to stay above float. So you see the type of system that we're in right now. So I ask you again, like, what are you willing to lose to gain the life that you want? What is your law of equivalent exchange? Are you going to continue to be a pawn in the chess game of life, or are you going to make chess moves? Speaking of, I have been starting to play chess again. I think I'm like low 700 elo. I think that's really shitty, and I'm gonna get it up for sure. All right, so on one of my first early podcasts, I mean I haven't listened to it in quite some time, but I think it's like maybe Chunky Milk episode 3 or something. But I was speaking about how, you know, I admire people that are emotional and they're volatile at times, passionate even. And I think that, like I said in that past episode, I'm remembering a little bit more about it now. But like I said back then, I think that, and I said it just now too, I overthink things, and I do enjoy that. It has its positivity as well, because I don't want any type of emotion to weigh me down. I want I just want the love to be bountiful. I want when I pass and my soul is up for judgment, that my soul will be the weight of a feather. Where did I get that from again? I think it was Egyptian. But there's a not a soul. It was heart. Ancient Egyptian religion, the weighing of the heart would take place in Duat, the underworld, in which the dead were judged by Anubis using a feather representing Ma'at, the goddess of truth and justice, responsible for maintaining order in the universe. The heart was the seat of the life spirit, Ka. So I think I might have said this on the podcast before. It's like another one of my favorite analogies, and it goes: if I buy somebody a gift and they don't accept it and I can't return it, whose gift is it then? It's mine. So if I harbor any feelings towards somebody and they reject it because they're on such a high vibration, or they're just not interested in harboring the similar feelings to me, I have to harbor that hate until it's ventilated. I have to harbor that hate and harbor whatever emotion it is, like even unrequited love. You have to harbor that because it's yours. So all of those things throughout life will weigh you down forever. That's why if I ever fuck up, I'm the type of person to contact whoever I fucked up and try to resolve whatever happened. And honestly, if I've never contacted you about any quote unquote fuck up, I genuinely feel like I did not do anything wrong. So there's that. Yeah. I was just remembering some shit. But I think that every type of memory will weigh you down too. I think the love that we experience right now is so possessive, and yeah, it's just really possessive. I think that all these things, all these memories, you share them. There's no memory you have with another person that like it's yours alone. Nobody's living in your reality with you. Your movie that you're the main character of, you're the only person in the theater observing that. But you have the option to leave the theater and just exist. You don't have to have your reality so rigid that like you believe that people outside of your peripheral don't have their own things going on. And I think that memory is very important too. That's why I began it with memory, and I'm looping back to it right now. Because that's all life is memories. Nothing is future, nothing is past. We're right now, and everything that you love about life, everything that you hate about life, everything that is life is memory. Right? I think that a lot of people don't really realize that time heals all. Time heals all for one, and time is a teacher. Time is a guiding force as well. Next topic. And this is not really the next topic. It goes back to this your soul being weighed against the feather. You cannot pay off spiritual debts, no matter how good the deed you do. All you can do is move forward and accept your new circumstances, like playing chess. And you can feel, all you can do is move forward like playing chess. Chess is an interesting game. It not only is about decision making. After every single chess move, it's a brand new game. And the circumstances of every one of your actions weighs so heavily that you must pay attention. And every one of your losses, every one of your not just lost games, but every piece that you lose as well, it is all your fault, and you must be accountable. Because the thing about chess too is that it's an equal playing field every single time. It doesn't matter if you're playing a grandmaster, doesn't matter if you're playing a child, right? You have the opportunity to lose every single time. The only reason, because there's a right move in chess every single time. There's a wrong move, and there's a plethora of different moves between the right move and the worst move possible. And every misstep can be calculated, and you will realize that the loss is your fault, the win is your fault. Everything is your responsibility, and you must be accountable for that because it's a single player game. And I think chess is also not only a metaphor for life, but even looking at the pieces. I was studying the pieces chosen and the piece and how they moved, right? So the queen, let's start with the king. The king moves one square at a time, right? His moves are all calculated and must be precise. It's all about precision. The king doesn't need to have long arms because everybody in the kingdom is one of his appendages. So he can move in all directions one step at a time. And I think that's very interesting because a man's worth is built up over time. It is calculated. It must be precise. Um, it must be perfect every single time. Now the queen, she can move in all directions as well. She does have some blind spots though. If you move two spaces up and one to the right, you're not gonna get touched by the queen. You see what I'm saying? So I said it all to say, she has longer arms than the king, and I feel like that's also has to do with her ability to get into different rooms, her ability to be seductive, her ability to even when doing deals with other kingdoms, you might send your queen there to allocate resources or do the grandstanding, do the people pleasing, do all sorts of things. She has full range of her emotion that she can take advantage of to win said battles. She can step into any shape necessary for whatever you need her to do. And she's the queen. She's right up under the king. So she definitely has the power of the king as well. And a lot of people, when playing chess, are almost as afraid of losing their queen as they are of losing their king and losing the game. I know people that have I've played against people that have lost their queen and forfeited the game early in the game. So that goes to show you her importance. And then you have your bishops. Your bishops move diagonally at any stretch of the imagination. You have a dark squared bishop and a light squared bishop. So when they're both in the game, they can be theoretically placed on any single square. But what I find is interesting is that the bishop moves diagonally, and it's kind of like a real world bishop walking a straight and narrow path. The queen and the king are married, and of course they need bishops around them. I think that the game, even the setup of the game is so beautiful. And after the bishop, you have your knights. And other than the rooks, the knight is the only non-human in the game, and the knight moves two spaces in any direction, two spaces, and then to the right or to the left in any directions. It is a skill to be able to use a knight to its full potential. Like being riding equestrian. It's so unorthodox, but it's very similar. It's similar to how a horse gallops in real life. It's just such a beautiful game with interesting, intricate rules. And then you have the knight's ability to jump over any player in the game is also realistic. I don't know if you guys ever been around a horse, but they're massive as fuck. And they'd be jumping like shit. But then you have your rook, which is the only non-organic chess piece. It's the cornerstone of the kingdom, is the physical kingdom. Without the kingdom, you have nothing. So you can be a king, but if you're a vagabond nomad, you have no kingdom. You have nothing. Right? But the rook moves in infinite up and down, left and right. That's how the rook moves, and it's the most rigid piece in the game. But they're very powerful as well. Then you have your pawns, right? A lot of people hate being pawns, but pawns are kind of sleepers. You know, their first step out into the battlefield is a proud step. It's 2 spaces instead of the ordinary 1. Or you can do the 1, it really doesn't matter. Then the way that the pawn attacks is diagonally, right? So they're not strong enough to kill a enemy standing right in front of them, but they can kill the one diagonally. And they all move 1 step at a time too. And I think they move 1 step at a time, but they can't go backwards. They can only go forward. They're soldiers. And I think that that's the way they kill. But also, one thing that's very interesting about the pawn that many people don't even know is that they have a tricky way to kill too. Like, let's say white and black are, not right in front of each other moving forward, but diagonally from each other moving forward. And black has the opportunity to kill white at white's starting place, but white chooses to move 2 spaces forward. Then black can move diagonally behind white and capture that white pawn. And I think that's like a backstabbing, shameful kill. I think people underestimate the pawn, and it's just to show you how dangerous the trench play is. It's kind of like it's mirrors life in such a textured level, where I think that's the most shameful way of killing somebody is a backstab, and these pawns are running around backstabbing motherfuckers. Yeah, so watch your back, protect your neck. It's been lovely talking to you, Chunky Milk. I do have to get on the road. But like I said, we are reviving the old schedule, and I'm going to sprinkle in extra episodes on different days, so I could just see exactly where my analytics rest. This has been your host, Kino. KEINO 662, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Join the cult. Oh, and thank you for the shares. I've been getting a lot of shares lately, and that's pretty lit. Leave a review, and let me know what's going on. Thank you again.